Guys, can you guess what puzzle I'm doing today? Can you guess? Can you guess? It is Purple Passion. No, it is a picture of Nymphia Wind. No, of course, it is Yellow Flash. So this came out in 1969, and the art is by Edna Andrade. So I am so excited to do this puzzle, as you can tell by my set decoration. However, I bought this puzzle 3 years ago. So why, you ask, did it take me 3 years to solve it? The answer is that I wanted to wait until I could get the mini version and do both of them at the same time. And I just got this one a couple months ago. Now, this mini one is definitely going to be a lot easier than the full-size one. They don't actually have a piece count anywhere on here, so I just counted the pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 31, 32, 33, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73. Compare that with over 500 pieces, so we'll do this one later. Let's start with the mini. Here's a fun comparison though. You can really see the size difference that we're working with here. Well, personally, I am starting to think that every difficult puzzle should come with a mini version. That was great. I got to start getting a feel for the image, starting to think about my strategy. My time was 13:20, which is not bad at all. Oh man, this is so cute. This is great. Even if you don't want to take on the actual difficult one, this is just like a little bite-sized taste of it. Okay, apparently this is the video where Karen discovers mini puzzles. I swear I've done them before. I just don't usually do them that are the exact same image as a full-size puzzle. But before I get to the oh my god, I just hit my glasses. Let's try that again. But before I get to the full-size one, I'm starting to get a little hungry. So clearly, I love puzzles. But you know what I don't love? Cooking. Literally, all I want is for meals to magically appear without me having to do any planning or cooking or any work at all. Well, factor has made that happen, and they are the sponsor of today's video. So the way that Factor works is that every week they put up a new menu, and you can go onto their site and choose which meals you want. Then they're mailed to you in individual portions, and all you have to do is open them up, heat them up for 2 minutes, and then you're good to go. So I was using Factor even before they reached out to me to be a sponsor here on this channel. As soon as they reached out, I was like, yes, absolutely. I have gotten so many meals, and I've never gotten a meal from them that I didn't like. And as someone who is only feeding myself and not an entire family, like, this is exactly as much of each meal that I need. Plus, it's totally flexible, so you choose exactly which meals you want, and then you can pause or reschedule anytime. Okay, I'm so hungry. This is actually gonna be my lunch, so let's give it a try. Oh my gosh. That's really good. That's really good. I'm gonna eat this entire plate. Okay, so if you wanna try it, you can go to factor75.com, and I'm also gonna have that link right down below. You can use code PUZZLES50 to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next box. That's code PUZZLES50 at factor75.com for 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next box while your subscription is active. Okay, I'm gonna go have lunch, and then through the magic of editing, let's get back to the puzzle. Okay, time to get rid of all of my extra circles, because now it is time to get serious. You guys do not want to know how long I spent making all of these. Goodbye, 13-minute time. You were so fast and so easy. All right, here we go. Oh, that is a lot of vintage puzzle dust. Oh man, look at how dusty that is. I wish they had had a yellow background or like a yellow cardboard. Now I'm just gonna have little red spots all over my backdrop. So, full disclosure, I am filming this part of the video on a brand new day, and I have a good reason. It is because I think I might be able to do this puzzle all in one day. Hear me out. I know that it looks really hard, but I did the mirror puzzle in just under 9 hours. And compared to that one, which was a solid color puzzle, this one has so much going on. There is so much of a picture to work off of, so it's going to be significantly easier. So it's only just after 9 a.m. right now, so let's get started and I'll update you along the way. Oh, and make sure that you stay until the end, because inside the box was a little pamphlet for how to have a puzzle party in 1969. So at the end, I will show you exactly what they recommend. Okay, so that took me 40 minutes to do the edge and all of the sorting. I went ahead and just put together the edge because this design is kind of unique for these very difficult Springbok puzzles in that since it's just solid yellow on the edge, you can find all of the edge pieces up front. Like, even though there are false edges inside, this time I could actually separate them out. So that definitely made the beginning of this puzzle a little easier than normal. Oh, also over here, I have a couple pieces that are still connected. And I realized this when I was first opening this up, that they didn't fully cut through them all the way. So they're still a little bit connected. And so I decided that I would just leave those together instead of yanking them apart. So you can see how I have separated by shape. As I get them into the puzzle, I'll be able to move all of this out of the edge. Up here are all of the miscellaneous pieces. It's not super organized, but that's fine. I'll just organize it as I go. Down here, I have all of the little guys again. Not actually that many of them compared to other Springbok puzzles that I've done. Oh no, I broke the rules. I looked for a piece when the timer wasn't on, but I was like, this shape looks unique. I bet I can find it. And sure enough, hang on, I just saw it. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. It's right in front. Okay, here we go. I bet this one goes here. Let's see. Yes! All right, let's keep going. Oh man, you guys, I just spent 4 hours straight working on this puzzle. So it's taken me 4 hours and 51 minutes, and I have so much I need to tell you, but first, I'm gonna go have lunch.
One eternity later.
Okay, so do you guys remember when I said this? I think I might be able to do this puzzle all in one day. And then this. I'm gonna go have lunch. Well, turns out doing a really hard puzzle for 4 hours straight makes you really tired. So I stopped for lunch. I went and I sat down, and then I just never got up again. I need to stop making these grand declarations. It never works out well. But I am definitely going to finish it today. So that 4-hour puzzling marathon was really just to knock out the beginning of the puzzle, which is the slowest and the hardest part, so it is the most boring to watch. But now that I'm at this point, it's going a lot faster, and I'm loving it. I honestly think this might be one of the most perfect puzzles I've ever done. So again, I wanted to finish it up when I was feeling refreshed and excited to do it again and not force myself to try to, you know, do this really fun puzzle when I wasn't really feeling it after a long day. Although I do have a question for you guys, especially those of you out there who are colorblind. Is this puzzle, like, even possible to do if you're colorblind? Well, I know that it's possible because the pieces are all unique from each other, but can you see the difference between the blue and the green? I realized that if I made a photo of this puzzle black and white, the differences in the brightness of the colors becomes very apparent. But when it's in color, I mean, the whole point of this painting is that the colors are very similar tonally, and so they kind of vibrate against each other. So I have no problem telling the difference between the green and the blue, but all of you out there, like, do any of you guys have any issues with it? I'd love to know. Anyway, speaking of colors, I put down this yellow backdrop just because I thought it would look cool. I thought it would go with my set. It just so happened that the yellow roll of paper that I got is the exact same yellow as the background on the puzzle. And if you remember, when I did the mirror puzzle, I kept talking about how the mirrored backdrop actually made the pieces easier to see. Well, that hasn't so much been the case this time. Some of the pieces have definitely been kind of blending into the background. It's been a little bit of a hindrance. It's made it a little more difficult, but you know, it's still totally fine. And I think it looks really cool, which for a YouTube video is the most important thing. But okay, let's go ahead and finish up this puzzle. I am so excited for this.
That interest in chromatic color, that is all the colors of the rainbow, you know, rather than the colors that you would say shades of gray as the main organizing factor, was really what led me finally into more abstract work. A change of environment kind of helped that too, because I moved in 1955 to this house where I now live in the city of Philadelphia. And the forms, you know, the city seemed so rectilinear, and that got into my work almost right away. And I think remains to this day. I became a teacher of design, became interested in the problems that I was giving my students in visual perception. How can you make a circle in the field look like it's light and float up? How can you make an equilateral triangle have a certain direction in one way by where you put it in the field? How can you make two colors vibrate against each other? Or how can you just keep them from doing that? All these problems, and how can you interest the eye in a sort of gradation from one shape to another, from one color to another. All those sort of elementary problems became things that I got into myself. And it was at that time that I had to, I decided that I didn't have to do something, painting something out there, that the painting could be generated just on its own terms. I mean, you could sort of set up a game plan for a painting and it could happen. It could grow like natural things grow. At the same time, my time was very limited when I started to teach full-time at the Philadelphia College of Art, and I had to sort of have a way of painting that didn't depend on how well I felt that morning when I had a few hours to work.
I was fascinated by what happened to my head or to my thinking, to my eyes when I looked at her painting. The work moved and and danced on the canvas, and I just looked at one way and looked at the other way, and there's another painting happening every minute. And I thought it was exciting work, and I vowed I'd just continue to look at her work. And then again I saw it, and I was intrigued by what she had done with practically no color. And again, the same twinkling work. There was a little spot of white on a dark canvas that came to life, and then I realized that there was more than what met my eye in the painting.
This work verbally and say that it has precise lines. She uses a ruling pen. There are geometric patterns. If you just think about that concept, you really you cannot comprehend how much her work evokes a spiritual sensibility as well. I mean, it's sort of like her means are very precise. Her attitude is very precise. Her approach is extremely, I mean, to think that she can do that kind of precise work is unbelievable. However, that's not what you feel when you walk in front of an Edna Andrade painting. What I feel, and I think what most people feel, is a feeling, an emotion that rises above the method.
So that took me 6 hours and 22 minutes, and I loved every single second of it. This is such a beautiful puzzle, and I think a really effective piece of pop art. Like, there were a couple times when I was working on it that I legitimately got dizzy and had to just look away for a minute. And I am just so glad that this artwork was printed during Springbok's prime. You know, today we have so much abundance that each individual thing feels a little bit cheaper and less special. But with this, you can tell that so much thought was put into it, from the artwork, which I want to remind you was made without computers, all the way to the puzzle quality itself. Like, it's just such a solid and beautiful product. And I think this is what is so special about jigsaw puzzles, is that they give you a way to look deeply at artwork you otherwise may never have had a reason to engage with, at least for an extended period of time. And I loved researching Edna's artwork. She did a handful of puzzles with Springbok. So there's also Black Diamond, which is this very trippy black and white design. There's also Color Motion, again, a black and white one. And then also the mini puzzles Gemini 66 and Interchange. In my research, I couldn't find any statements specifically from her about what she thought about having her artwork on jigsaw puzzles, but I love it. I think this is such a natural fit. However, I was looking into her other artwork, and there is a little bit of a mystery, a little mini mystery. So the Locks Gallery in Philadelphia has a bunch of her artwork archived on their site, and they have one which is titled Yellow Flash, but it is a different design from this Yellow Flash. But then there's also a black and white version of this artwork, which is called Silver Turn. So then I did a little more Googling, and I found a print of this yellow puzzle image in the Philadelphia Academy of Fine Arts collection, only it's called Yellow Bounce. So I'm not totally sure why Springbok changed up those names. Either way, she was definitely doing different versions of a lot of her designs, so I would love to know how they decided which ones to actually put on the puzzles. Also, with this original print, you can see the actual colors, because making this video, my cameras had no idea what to do with all of this yellow, so I know that the colors were kind of all over the place. Also, now that I have the mini and the full size next to each other, it's interesting to see how much the colors were changed up between them. Like in the mini, the yellow is much more yellow, there's a little less red in it, and then the blues are also more of an aqua blue and less of a periwinkle blue. Honestly, with all three colors in this, it looks like they just toned down a lot of the red tones. So, okay, on the back of the box, it is beautifully designed. You can see a blurb about the artwork and then also about Edna herself. So you can pause here if you want to read the entire thing. And then I also just wanted to share more of my favorite pieces from her. I think any of these would have made incredible puzzles. I mean, even forget puzzles, I just want to hang these in my house. I think they are so beautiful. So if you want to click through them for yourself, I'm gonna link the Locks Gallery website right down below. And I'm also going to link the full segment from Blue Ridge Public Television. I am just so glad that they made this segment, that they preserved her own viewpoints about her life, and that it ended up online for all of us to watch. So, okay, changing gears a little, I have two more little treasures relating to this puzzle that I wanted to share. The first is the original shrink wrap with the original price tag for $4. I definitely spent much more than $4 getting this puzzle. And then we have the Puzzle Party pamphlet. They included this in a bunch of their puzzles from around this time. So here on the front, you can see some nice looking people doing a puzzle. I wonder who they are. I wonder where they ended up. If we open it up, we can see a little blurb about making puzzle piece invitations, where you write all the info on construction paper, and then you cut it up into puzzle pieces, and then people have to assemble the puzzle to figure out how to get to your party. That's such a good idea. I love that. They also say that 4 people is about the maximum to work on a puzzle together, which I would agree with, especially for a 500-piece puzzle like Springbok was making at the time. So then they suggest making puzzle name tags where they fit together to show who is paired together for puzzling. Again, great idea. Love that one. Ooh, and then they suggest giving prizes for different puzzle accomplishments. The first to turn over all the pieces, the first to complete a border, the first to, well, obviously, finish their puzzle, or the people who have done the most by a time limit. So I feel like with all of the competition videos that I'm making, it's like introducing people to a new world of competitive puzzling, but people have been racing puzzles for 100 years now. This is not a new thing at all. Oh, this is so fun. For more excitement, have teams change puzzles after a set time. I was actually thinking about this recently Like, it would be so fun to do a competition where you have to switch puzzles with someone else at a certain point. I have to think through exactly how that would work, but apparently they were already doing it back in the 60s, so it is not an original idea. Okay, so then they suggest to serve puzzle refreshments. And if we open it up, they have a whole spread of puzzle treats. So we have puzzle cookies, which is just like sugar cookies that are cut out into puzzle pieces. There's also punch, which I don't think is really jigsaw puzzle themed. I think it's just party punch. And then a jigsaw pizza, where you cut up a pizza into random shapes and then arrange them as if they're puzzle pieces, like randomly spread out. That's kind of funny, actually. So then on the back, they just have bit of an ad for their own Springbok puzzles, just giving some ideas for which Springbok puzzles to select. But again, I want to point out that they're saying try to make selections of almost equal difficulty, like 2 op art designs or puzzles that have similar solid colors. If you'd rather have variety, of course, and not make a contest out of puzzling, the combinations are virtually endless. See, so they were doing competitive puzzling all the way back in the 60s. I should probably make a video about the history of competitive puzzling, because it goes back like way, way further than you would think. All right, so do you guys like my shirt? I had ordered these 2 shirts online, and I thought I was gonna wear them for this entire video, but they only arrived in time for me to use them for this outro. But they were solid color shirts that I cut in half and then sewed together so that I can fully become one with this puzzle. I swear, it took me longer to set up the backdrop and make the shirt and do all the prep work than it actually did for me to solve this puzzle. So that's all I've got for you today. So let me know down in the comments if this is a puzzle that you would attempt. Your code word for the comments will be either green or blue, whichever color you like better. All right, that's all I've got. Happy puzzling, and I will see you all in the next one.